Good morning. We are extremely pleased that you are here. It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree? Yes. You are knowing what you are wanting? It moves about a bit, yes. You have come to appreciate the contrast that helps you know what you want? Even when you're not getting it? We'd like to torture you a little. Well, it's different, isn't it? When you want something and you have no doubt that it can come about, then that desire is fresh and sweet, isn't it? But when you want something or have felt as if you have wanted it for a while, and not only has it not yet come about, but you don't see any obvious path through which it will come about. So you want it, but you doubt it. You want it, but you don't believe it. That desire doesn't feel so good, does it? And the reason that desire doesn't feel so good is because your doubt is your indicator that you have an active vibration going on, a chronic pattern of thought that contradicts your own desire. Positive emotion, when you feel joyful or when you feel frisky, that means your thought in the moment holds no contradiction to your broader knowing. You sort of get that? Now, what is your broader knowing? Some say, well, my broader knowing must be the source within me, maybe my soul, maybe the God within me. And we say, certainly good descriptions. But that broader part of you is more than that which you were before you came forth into this body. Because even though you are here so beautifully focused in this physical body, in this time-space reality, there is a much larger part of you, the non-physical part of you, who remains non-physically focused. So even though you're here, you're also here. In other words, the larger part of you is non-physical energy, the older, wiser part of you. Now, it's not just that you were older and wiser before a part of you came forth. It's even more and better. It's that you were older and wiser before you came forth, but after you came forth into this physical body, all day, every day, as you are sifting through the contrast, just like you knew you would, whenever you know what you don't want, you send a rocket of desire of an equal, equivalent desire. In other words, you cannot live contrast without knowing what is wanted when you know what you don't want. So as that desire emanates from you, here's the part that we really want you to hear. That larger non-physical part of you becomes it. The you that was you before you were born just became even more expanded because of you being born. In other words, you caused an expansion of you. Now, this is the description of the evolution of all species, but we want to say to you that as humans, you are among the only species who consistently, without meaning to, keep yourself separated is too strong a word, but you hinder the relationship between you and you. In other words, all of that which exists upon your planet is consciousness having exposure to life. And in all of that consciousness, there is asking. And so because of all of that asking, there is expansion. So the non-physical part of all that is constantly expanding. And we don't think you give yourselves nearly enough credit for that. You don't seem to realize the importance of this contrasting life that you're living and the asking that takes place. It's so important that a while back, we wrote a book and gave it the best title that was ever given to a book because it speaks to this exact point. Ask and it is given. When life causes you to ask, not only is it given, it literally becomes. So our physical friends say, well, oh yeah, then where's my stuff? Because I've been asking and I don't see it. And we say, it has been given and it exists in this non-physical vibrational reality. In a vibrational reality, and you say, big deal. Vibrational reality. Sounds sweet, but where's my stuff? And we say, You have to understand that everything that exists that you see in this physical time-space reality, all this knock-on-wood stuff, all this flesh, blood, bone stuff, all this stuff that you know as your reality was vibrational reality first. First it is thought, then it takes form, you see. And so this vibrational reality, which holds who you really are and everything you want, but more importantly and perfectly said, everything that you've become, this vibrational reality is a reality worth understanding, worth talking about, worth recognizing, and worth attempting resonance with. That means when life caused you to become more, the question is, are you keeping up? Are you going? Are you letting yourself be the more that life caused you to be? And if you are, you feel wonderful. That's what joy, that's what appreciation, that's what love, that's what being tuned in, tapped in, turned on is. That's that frisky, passionate, in love with life, in love with you, in love with things, in love feeling is. But if you feel negative emotion, if you're ornery, if you're irritated about something, if you're fearful, if you're angry, if you're hateful, if you're depressed, if you're on that end of the emotional scale that doesn't feel good, then you are, by virtue of the thought you're thinking right now, pinching yourself off from the resonance. In other words, there's a gap between you and you. But there's something even more that we want you to understand, because we know many of you have been listening to us for a while, and you get this emotional scale. You know that on one end of it you feel wonderful, and on the other end of it you don't feel good. And you have a sense of the emotional guidance that that's all about. But we want to lay out for you here today, in terms that you just cannot miss, that the reason that you ever feel negative emotion is because you, in your physical body, have caused an expansion of the total you. And now you, in your physical body, aren't keeping up. So if it were not for your life which caused you to expand, your not going wouldn't be a problem. In other words, if someone called you on the telephone and said, hello, you don't know me, I'm just calling to tell you I will never call you again, you would say, all righty then. But if someone you really care about were to tell you that, that contrasting experience would cause you to launch a powerful rocket of desire. And because you've expanded in a new place, now the evidence that you're looking at is so far from the expansion that you've taken, you would feel the vibrational discord. There would not be the resonance or harmony. There would not be the alignment that you are really reaching for. So you've come forth explicitly to explore contrast. And some say, Abraham, I don't really get this. If I was pure positive energy with no resistance before I came into this body, tell me again, why did I come forth into this body? I wanted contrast. Is that what you're saying, you crazy non-physical ghost? Is that what you're saying? I wanted this contrast. And we say, oh, you did. You wanted the contrast because you wanted the expansion. But you did not plan on hanging around in separation from the expansion. You said, I'll go forth, I'll explore contrast. The contrast will inspire my new desire. And when the new desire is inspired, I will turn my undivided attention toward it. But sometimes what happens is, you've had the experience when some dear person in your life just bugs the life out of you, just harasses you and harasses you and harasses you into expansion, 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 expansion. There are people who are responsible for the majority of your expansion, in fact. So here you are, this expanded being, soaring with all of this new becoming, but you in your physical form are focused upon this person who's irritating you. So it's so interesting that the person who caused you such expansion, you are now using as your excuse not to expand. That's why you're extra, extra mad at them, you see. Because they're hooked in with you. You're tied together as this collaboratively co-creative partnership. So we want to help you today. We want to draw your attention toward this vibrational reality. We want you to get a feel of this vibrational reality, because if you can understand it, everything that you have lived and are living, or anybody else that you're observing, will begin to make sense to you. So do you get it that you were source before you came into this body? And do you get it that even though you're in this body, that you're still expanding this source? Do you get that? Can you accept that expanded part of you, this vibrational reality is swirling? And have you been hearing about law of attraction, which says that which is likened to itself is drawn? So, of course, when you're focused upon something unwanted, you get more of that unwanted stuff. It's just the way the law works. But this is the bigger picture that we want you to understand. Life has caused you to become this, and the larger part of you, your inner being, the source within you, stands in the middle of this vibrational reality, in this vortex of creation. And as law of attraction responds to this vortex that was spinning long before you came into this body and is spinning faster now that you're in this body, contributing to this vortex, this is a veritable vortex of creation. And hear this, all cooperative components are being assembled in this vortex. Do you get what that means? Everything that you've asked for and everything that's necessary to bring it about, just like the way this planet came into being, just the way this planet spins in its orbit. In other words, everything that you see that is now physical manifestation, this reality that you're all so excited about, this reality was non-physical reality first, a vibrational reality, a vortex of creation. So if you can accept that, yes, while you're standing here in this physical body, you are what you are, but you are so much more, and you are so close to allowing everything that's in this vortex to become. And that's what this gathering is about. We call it a law of attraction based seminar because the law of attraction is what is assembling the cooperative components. But in this art of allowing understanding, we want you to ask yourself the question and hopefully find the answer here today. Are you one of the cooperative components? Are you letting yourself be one of the cooperative components to what you have asked for? Or are you over here beating the drum of why you ask for it? Life causes you to ask for more money. Ask for money. There's a lot of that going on. Asking for more, asking for more, asking for more, asking for more. Becoming. Your vortex of creation is spinning. And all cooperative components have already been assembled. That's why we can say to you, it's done. It's done. It's already done vibrationally. Are you a cooperative component? No, I'd rather complain about not having enough money. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough. I have never had enough. I can't remember having enough money. I don't like not having enough money. I hardly know anybody who has enough money. Rich bugger over there, he's got enough money, but he probably deals drugs. So as you are beating the drum of the same unpleasant thing which caused you to ask, now you're using that same unpleasant thing, that contrasting thing which caused you to expand and caused the universe to open, which caused the vortex to spin, which causes the assemblance of all things necessary to give you everything that you ask for, right down to the last detail. Are you going? No, I'd rather complain. And that's really what this gathering is about. We want you, by the time you leave here today, to understand your relationship with your vortex. We want you to understand your relationship with who you really are. And when you care about how you feel, then you're able to understand your relationship with your own vortex of creation. When you, no matter what's happened in your life, if you have found a way to work yourself consistently into your vortex, your past experience will look far different from inside the vortex. So much so that you may even find love for those perpetrators who catapulted so much wonderful stuff into your vibrational reality, you see. But when you're standing outside the vortex, you could even be standing in wonderful circumstances and you could not see them, you see. So it's not what somebody did to you in the past. It's what you are doing to you now that matters. So that's the question that you want to ask yourself. What am I doing to myself? Am I holding myself out of the vortex with good reason or not so good reason? There have been some really heavy-duty conversations here today. And many people, we can feel it in your vibration, are saying, I'm not so sure what I've been worried about because there's a lot bigger, badder things that could go on out there. But it does not matter what happened that's got you out of the vortex. Out of the vortex is out of the vortex, period. It doesn't matter if it was a big reason, like someone killing themselves that you love or somebody somebody trying to, or being raped or plundered. It doesn't matter what the reason is that you're out of the vortex. The only thing that matters is that you are, you see. And it doesn't matter how long you've been out. It doesn't matter how big the reason is that you got out. Doesn't matter. Out of the vortex is out of the vortex. And in the vortex is in the vortex. And you now know the difference. You now have no more excuses. You now will have no trouble getting into the vortex. And don't be surprised when you get in, it spits you out.